people about, and they, the IRGC, which surrounds the regime and protects them and suppresses the people, they're going to fight back. General Dan Kane said that this morning. He says, yeah, they're fighting, and I expected them to. And they might have more, and more missiles hidden. That was one of the suggestions that perhaps are holding back to wait for something else. But the trajectory is quite amazing. What our military has been able to do to degrade the possibility or the capacity.
And so she's saying something that I agree with too. Even if I don't agree with the war, us attacking and things of that nature, what they've been able to accomplish so far is hats off to the military, hats off to the intel, hats off to the coordination of the strikes. They've decimated the country's leadership. But I've seen this before. And you know, everybody's talking about it. Without putting boots on ground, it's hard to say when the war will end and what victory truly looks like. And you know, they just put in Khamenei's son as the new supreme leader. And ultimately, I as me being a pessimist, which is another thing y'all will learn about me. Yeah, we're just creating more terrorists in the future. This is a problem that somebody else is going to have to deal with. Whenever we end up getting to a point of victory or stalemate or however this war ends, hopefully it doesn't end up being one of those forever wars. But however this war, this conflict, whatever you want to title it as, ends. Yeah, man, we're creating a situation. There could be sleeper cells. We could be creating terrorists right in these current moments that become future problems. It happened before. I'm willing to bet that it'll happen again. I pray it doesn't. But what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Trey. I figured I'm gonna test out something new. For as long as I can stand it, that is. So as I continue to grow the channel, hopefully, y'all will start to get to know a little bit more about me. So I am a Democrat. I don't consider myself radical liberal. I'm probably leaning more between centrist and more progressive. I know that's probably like a large gap, but it is what it is. So I admit to you before we even get started on this video that I am more biased to that aspect. With that being said, just, you know, my current position and like, you know, my family, friends, people I work with and stuff like that, I end up, you know, just working or coming across a lot of different people that are, you know, conservative, right? I don't know if I would go as far as to say all of them are MAGA Republicans, but conservative. We'll just leave it broad in that sense, right? All of them watch Fox News on the regular. Well, all of these people, like not everybody that I know. But anyway, all that's being said, I am going to probably create a lot of content that is more liberal, more on the Democratic side of the argument. But that's not to say that I don't pay attention to what people on the opposite side of the aisle are saying or how they view things. Now, the problem that I have, and I'm sure you'll hear me say it multiple times, is that a lot of times on Fox News, with a lot of these talking head programs, I don't even believe that they wholeheartedly believe in the things that they're saying. It's very performative just to be like, in my opinion, it's almost like state media. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like CBS, well, used to be CBS, MSNBC, CNN are more liberal organizations. So they come at it from that aspect of it. But it's, at least in my opinion, it seems genuine when they raise up problems with the administration, problems with the presidency and things of that nature. It seems legit. Now, I'm not saying that every argument that comes across Fox News doesn't seem legit. I think that there are plenty of arguments that can be made that seem legit. But you'll see throughout these clips. I haven't watched these clips when we react to them live. But a lot of times things just seem performative in nature. To know what the conservative side of the argument is, where your support should lie, and then just tailor your response and your argument and feelings towards that side of the argument. I don't think that's healthy. It's not a healthy way to debate, and it's not a healthy way to actually get to the bottom of issues and try and come up with solutions. But all it does is create this system or scenario where when I'm having conversations with people that are ingesting these things, they treat like a lot of these opinions as fact and try and come at a conversation with these same type of talking points. And a lot of times, it's all like on a performative basis. That being said, that was a whole soapbox speech on that. I'm going to be reacting to Fox News content. I want to see what they're talking about, see if I agree, disagree. I might go into the habit of fact checking some of the stuff, but for now, we'll just let it live. I don't want to turn everybody away from the channel with my negativity about Fox News. I'll respond with my thoughts and my opinions on how they respond to things, but yeah, we'll just keep it pushing from there.
I'm Kaylee McEnany, along with Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, Dana Perino, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five.
I will tell you, on it, I will be responding to way more of The Five whenever Jessica Tarlov is on there. She wasn't on there for the most recent episode, I guess, but I'm going to react to the show regardless. But yeah, predominantly when she's on there.
We bring you this Fox News alert. We are in week 2 of Operation Epic Fury as the U.S. military and Israel continue to decimate the Iranian terror regime at a furious clip. CENTCOM reports over 5,000 targets struck in Iran and 50 Iranian vessels damaged or destroyed. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt telling reporters that the operation ends when Iran can no longer back up their death to America threats.
10 days in, this campaign has been a resounding success thus far, and America's warriors are winning this important fight at an even faster pace than we anticipated. When President Trump says that Iran is in a place of unconditional surrender, he's not claiming the Iranian regime is going to come out and say that themselves. What the president means is that Iran's threats will no longer be backed by a ballistic missile arsenal that protects them from building a nuclear bomb in their country. And Iran chose this path to death and destruction. Iran wanted to attack the United States of America, and the president was not going to sit back and allow that to happen.
President Trump talking to Trey Yingst, laying out the rationale for the strikes on Iran. He said, quote, "No other president had the guts to do it. I don't want some president who hasn't gotten the courage in 5 years or in 10 years to go in. It's like a gunslinger where he draws his gun first." And the liberal media is having a...
All right. I'm going to just let her get to it, I guess.
crash out over Epic Fury by dusting off the old Russia card.
According to the Kremlin, in the middle of all that, President Donald Trump called Vladimir Putin and talked to him for an hour. And we only learned about that phone call because the Kremlin told us about it. The White House didn't announce it. The Kremlin did. Was it even in the White House calendar that today was the day Trump was supposed to check in with his boss?
Trump said the war will only stop after Iran's unconditional surrender, to which Iran replied, "That's a dream America should take to their grave." Okay, that's spooky. And metal as hell.
All right, so let's go over a couple of things. I got no love lost. I'm not going to be out in the streets protesting on behalf of Iran. You say what you will about how we went about this war. The way it started, it shouldn't happen, but we're in it now. So, you know what I'm saying? I completely support America, and I want us to win. I want soldiers to come home. I want, I don't want any soldiers harmed, any Americans harmed that are in that area. Hell, I don't want, because we started this, all the other allied nation like that have people in that area to suffer for the consequences, right? All of those things being said, I just think the way the administration is going about this, first saying that we're negotiating, then saying that we had to strike because Israel was going to strike, and then everybody was going to feel the wrath of, pretty much Iran was just going to attack everybody indiscriminately, which obviously with the way Iran has reacted was potentially true. But it seems like with the way everything's been reported that this has been at least something that's been talked about for a while. We've been putting U.S. Navy, U.S. military forces in that area. Hell, I was watching something the other day, and Britain was also preparing certain things. So it's like these are conversations that are being had, but we as the American people we're the last to know about it. And whatever, we're in it now. I don't. If it's as far as Rachel Maddow, because I think that's who it was, that was reporting the Russian piece of it. Like, I mean, these are journalists, man. Like, it's a new thing, right? One thing that you'll learn about me, I did a short stint at Syracuse University at the Newhouse School of Broadcast Journalism, right? And all it is newsworthiness. She was trying to look for a different take on the current news, the current situation that nobody else is really talking about. So yeah, the president had a conversation with Putin. Okay, if nobody else is talking about that, that's a different angle that is going to get more eyeballs tuning into her. That's all it really is. Like, to try and make it seem like Russia, and that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about is disingenuous. Now you know what I'm saying, you're creating a narrative that's whatever. Yeah. It's not the Russia hoax. It's her trying to get more people to tune in to Rachel Maddow's program. Whatever.
Basically, we are sending people in to lose their lives.
Yes.
Because we've seen how fighting goes.
So I was reading an old Guardian article about Maddow's history on Russia, Greg. She implied press briefings were orchestrated by the Kremlin. Never the case, I can tell you that from firsthand experience, that a strike in Syria, she concurred, might have been at the behest of Vladimir Putin and alongside him.
Do they actually believe we have no memory of the past 10 years? No one should be going to Maddow, Colbert, or The View for any kind of foreign policy or even domestic expertise. The View is actually considered a news program by ABC. That's like considering Jimmy Kimmel a comedy show. Mm-hmm. But it's a reminder that you should, when you hear these people say things and you feel like it's penetrating you.
Again, like I said, performative. He could get to his point, he could get to the facts, but no, it's the performative aspects. And I get it, man. I'm trying to start a YouTube channel. There's a little bit of performative in it, but I don't need that from my news, right? All the mainstream news, I guess, it's a sign of the times, and them trying to, get more money, get more eyeballs and things of that nature. But I don't need this. And when you get this, that's when the divisive rhetoric, the me versus them, the my side versus their side kind of deal. I don't need this from the news. Like, hey, make your point. Like, you don't agree with it, just get to the point.
Remind yourself what their stances were on Joe Biden's competence, on Russian collusion, on trans, on crime, on Hunter's laptop, on...
And this is the reason why I'm telling y'all going to have to bear with me. Those of y'all that support Fox News, that y'all are conservative and things like that. You're going to have to bear with me, because this is the issue that I have with it, and this is what makes it difficult to digest, what makes it difficult to watch. Like, I get it. We don't agree. We don't see eye to eye. I couldn't even tell you buddy's name. I just know I see him a lot, and he's infuriating for me. But he's gone down the entire laundry list, the entire checklist of all things that MAGA Republicans or conservative Republicans were talking about in 2024 election, right? Like, he hasn't talked about Did he talk about immigration and I missed it? But my point still being that he just went down the entire laundry list of this is why the woke liberals, the radical left is the enemy. He prefaced before he even made his point. He prefaced every talking point down the checklist. Check, and still hasn't got to his point.
On the border, they were wrong on everything. And this is why, and this is not a great thing, but it feels like Trump has no loyal opposition. Nobody can take the Democrats seriously and nobody can take the media seriously because they surrendered all their credibility during the Biden years. So no one is required to take them seriously. So there's like this open road where Trump feels like he can do.
So I think he said something that I partly agree with. Like, it's not just mainstream media on the left that has lost all credibility. I think all mainstream media has lost credibility. So is another reason why I encourage everybody to find some independent journalists that you agree, not just agree with, but that you like, that you enjoy ingesting their content. I watch like a lot of independent media. I watch, Pod Save America, Pod Save the World, The Bulwark, Breaking Point. Y'all let me know if I messed that one up. Breaking Point, Rage and Moderates. What else? Zateo. Try and watch them. And a few others. Man, I couldn't spout off every single thing that I ingest, but whatever side of the aisle that you're on, I don't recommend getting your news from Fox News. I don't recommend getting your news from CNN, like all your news. Man, yeah, I get it. You're gonna a lot of these different organizations are also sourcing Fox, Wall Street Journal, things of that nature in their reporting. So I'm not telling you to just not trust anything, but take it all with a grain of salt and definitely follow up and do your own research, because you're definitely being, depending on which network that you're tuned into, you're definitely being led in a specific direction.
What he plans on doing, because no one's going to take them seriously. I think I said this to you, that there's a new duopoly shaping where the legacy media. So here is the Trump White House, and this would have been the legacy media. They're gone, completely gone. And what's replacing it is independent media. So these are like the people that I actually trust, who I disagree completely with. I disagree with Greenwald, Tim Dillon, Red Scare, Joe Rogan on this topic, but they're not beholden to anybody. They're not covering for anybody. So I take their criticism to heart. It penetrates me, but nothing I get from mainstream media comes. It's like rain hitting the windshield of a Humvee. It just, I don't feel it.
It's funny.
Media has to
I don't think he
realize
considered
what they've done.
He mentioned
by
himself.
Completely abdicating their calling to their career, by in terms of backing Biden and demonizing the other guy. They've left this open road, and Trump is going right through it. If the media had been honest for the past 10 years.
Oh, and just so we're clear, all cards on the table before people are like, "Oh, I'm biased," and hit me with whataboutisms as far as Biden and things of that nature. Yeah. So the last time the person that I supported actually won an election was Obama. I was a Bernie supporter, and he lost, out in the primary to Hillary. I was a Andrew Yang. Well, so okay, we got to go back. So I was a Bernie supporter. Hillary got the nomination. She lost to Trump. Then after Trump, that would have been 2020. Yeah, that was the 2020 election. I was an Andrew Yang supporter. I really, fell in line with a lot of things he had to say. Seemed like a smart guy. Fell out early in the primary, and then we end up with Biden. Biden wins. And yeah, so then, fast forward, and then Biden he waited too late to drop out, and then we got Kamala. So I think, before people what if me to death, we have a two-party system, and that's, I believe, is the biggest problem in our politics, is the two-party system. I think that we should have some form of parliamentary government, similar to the UK. I get it. I haven't done all the research on it, but I think only having two parties that are viable options for, candidacy, the presidency, Congress, Senate, you name it. I think that's the problem, because both Democrats and Republicans are bought and paid for to this point. It's plain as day. If y'all are not woke to that fact alone, like, there's no helping you. So at the end of the day, you're getting the best of two bad decisions. And you can see it in the way people answer questions, to an extent, right? Some people break the mold, right? Some people are nuanced, and they provide new perspective, and they bring up new policies, and those are the people that deserve our support. But a lot of these politicians are cookie cutter, and they're based on their donor backed interest, and that's how they form their policies, that's how they vote, and that's how they campaign. And I know that's a long, drawn out way to say is, before you whataboutism me to death, yeah, I supported Biden because I believe wholeheartedly that Trump is a terrible human being, right? My principles, my sense of morality, he goes against a lot of it. And that's just me personally as a person. I could go down the laundry list of all the different things I don't like about him. I could go down a laundry list of all the things that I didn't really care for with Biden either. But guess what? He was the choice. He was my only choice, because we have a two-party system. Yeah, you can vote third party if you want to, but come on. We all know that's not a viable option. So before you whataboutism to me to death, like, yeah, I'm going to vote against Trump every time he's on the ballot.
Years, instead of gaslighting us on all of these issues that I mentioned, they could offer credible criticism and we could listen, but they didn't, and we can't, so it doesn't matter.
Dana, and you look at what's coming out of Iran. They told President Trump to be careful. You could find yourself eliminated, asked about U.S. ground troops potentially. They said, no, we are waiting for them. I mean, it's incredible.
I mean, it's a country of 100 million people and the IRGC, which surrounds the regime and protects them and suppresses the people, they're going to fight back. General Dan Kane said that this morning. He says, yeah, they're fighting, and I expected them to. And they might have more more missiles hidden. That was one of the suggestions, that perhaps they're holding back to wait for something else. But the trajectory is quite amazing. What our military has been able to do to degrade the possibility or the capacity.
And so she's saying something that I agree with too. Even if I don't agree with the war, us attacking and things of that nature, what they've been able to accomplish so far is it's hats off to the military, hats off to the intel, hats off to the coordination of the strikes. They've decimated the country's leadership. But I've seen this before, and everybody's talking about it. Without putting boots on ground, it's hard to say when the war will end and what victory truly looks like. And they just put in Khamenei's son as the new supreme leader. And ultimately, I, as me being a pessimist, which is another thing y'all will learn about me, we're just creating more terrorists in the future. This is a problem that somebody else is going to have to deal with. Whenever we end up getting to a point of victory or stalemate or however this war ends, hopefully it doesn't end up being one of those forever wars. But however this war, this conflict, whatever you want to title it as, ends. Man, we're creating situation. There could be sleeper cells. We could be creating terrorists right in these current moments that become future problems. It happened before. I'm willing to bet that it'll happen again. I pray it doesn't, but yeah.
Of Iran to attack their neighbors and their own people is quite extraordinary. That is nothing short of extraordinary. And of course, that includes a lot of intel, not only from our side, but from the Israelis as well. And don't forget, I think that it's important, it's not just been this past 10 days, but Iran's proxy, Hamas, made a terrible decision on October 7th, 2023, when they decided to go in, take those people, kill those people, rape those people, take those people hostage. Many of them were Americans as well. And ever since then, Israel said, okay, that's it. And Biden sort of slow walked Israel on this. Remember all the fights that the Biden administration had? Like, should we help them? Should we not help them? I don't know. Finally, Israel gets to the point where they did the pager attack. They killed people, not just the...
You remember what this conversation started with, right? Like, how far into this video are we? We're 6 minutes into the video. 6 minutes, 45 seconds. Hold on. Let's go back to how they opened up. Just so I remember. All right, 6 minutes 45. That's where we were.
So I was reading an old Guardian article about Maddow's history on Russia, Greg. She implied press briefings were orchestrated by the Kremlin. Never the case. I can tell you that from firsthand experience, that a strike in Syria, she concurred, might have been at the behest of Vladimir Putin and alongside him.
Do they actually believe we have no memory of the past 10?
Really address that. The conversation is taken on, a different route. But okay. They did that whole introduction.
It was like many other sort of...
into where they're at now. That's fine. Don't let me be the nitpicky one.
Amazing intel. Then President Trump gets in and says, okay, I will help you. I do not want them to get a nuclear weapon either. So he did Operation Midnight Hammer. And yet still Iran wouldn't stop. So I'm not at all surprised that they're like, oh yeah, we're so big and brave. We're going to say that the president ought to watch himself. They already tried to kill him before, and previous presidents too. And many other Americans they did kill or maim. So they're a little bit getting what they deserve. One thing I would just say that I still think is unfortunate, curious, and I hope that we get this turned around in the next 36 hours. It's that there's so little capability for the people inside Iran to communicate right now. We don't know what they're saying, what they're seeing. We don't have video from inside. They can't communicate in and out. And so that, to me, is something I would love, especially as a news organization, to be able to show people what is happening inside.
Yeah, no, that's a great point for sure. And Jesse, looking at the map.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more stories coming out. I know a lot of different organizations reporting on different stuff from out of that area. And we've got to take that with a grain of salt too. But hopefully we can get more, I don't want to say reporting from on ground, because I don't know what the situation is, who's going to be willing to go into that type of environment. But yeah, I would love to hear more of, the perspective of the Iranian people, because I know just as many people are, probably singing everybody's praises and things of that nature. There's probably a decent amount of uncertainty. Like, they don't know what the regime is going to do in response. They don't know how it's going to end. Currently the way we're bombing and things of that nature. I know I've seen there were a lot of civilian casualties, civilian structures hit, and things of that nature. So it's got to be a whirlwind of different emotions and unknowns for them. So yeah, hopefully we can get some reporting. Just to know what the situation is for them and how they're taking everything.
MAGA base. There was a lot of conversation when this happened 12 days ago. What's the MAGA base going to do? Well, there's some polling out, and it's YouGov, and you see Republicans overall moved up from 68% support Trump to 76% on this. The MAGA base, 85% support Trump. He has a lot of trust and has earned a lot of goodwill.
Yeah, you can disagree with the war, but not the war effort. We are accelerating these bombing runs, and their offensive output is collapsing. You have to look at it honestly, like these two colleagues to my left said. Everything that the Iranians have tried has failed. They tried to have a war of attrition, hunker down, let us run out of munitions and interceptors. That didn't work. They tried to hit the Arab allies. All it did was force them into America's arms. And then they tried to jack up the price of oil so the base felt the pain at the pump and the market could pressure Trump to take a knee.
I mean, they're still fighting, so we can't like claim victory. They are on the back foot. No argument there. They're on the back foot. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, they've got two nations attacking them at the moment. So, well, shit, and no, I think it's just us and Israel. Everybody else is just doing defensive efforts and things of that nature. But whatever. Oh yeah, the Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz is still closed at the moment. So oil prices are going to continue to go up, and the longer that stays closed, we're still going to have to. We're going to suffer from it. Hopefully, it's short-lived. I was listening to a different. It was independent news. They were talking to somebody that was supposed to be like an expert in oil, international oil prices and dealings and things of that nature, and was saying, the longer that the Strait of Hormuz is closed, the price per barrel could go up to over 200 per barrel, and what that would mean we would go up to about $4 to $5 per gallon at the pump. So. And that's just at the pump, right? I did another video responding to the Joe Budden podcast of all places. They were talking about how oil is in everything. So, there's going to be slight price increases based on, how hard it is to get oil and things of that nature. So, yeah, so all to say, we're going to feel it in the pockets a little bit. But, I mean, yeah, this is the situation we're at. So everybody's got to prepare in their own way for it. So I think this is being disingenuous, but I get it, right? You are singing the praises of the war effort. But the problem of that is, like, when you're singing you become committed to singing the praises and not committed to realistically looking at the situation and telling the people, because some people only ingest Fox News. So him not mentioning that fact, like, hey, be prepared to potentially pay $4 per gallon, $5 per gallon. How is that going to affect you? Do you need to start whatever? Do you need to start carpooling? Whatever you need to do, like all these grocery prices and things like that are going to go up. Price of goods and things of that nature. You need to start preparing. You need to, prepare that you might have to use your savings. If you're not telling people that, like, people are going to suffer because they're not going to be ready for it, and then it's going to happen, and then they're going to have to react.
That didn't happen. The market is stabilized. Oil's down to $80 a barrel. And right now the strait's open. It's not completely, but they are moving tankers. And we have things we can do there. We can use ships as sentries. We could do escorts, or we could seize Carg Island and then just turn off their revenue with a little spigot.
Yeah,
when Trump and Hegseth say that we're only just getting started, or, they ain't seen nothing yet. That's not saying the war is going to last forever. That's a psyop to the Iranians to say we're holding a lot back.
And let's be clear, like, Trump responded to the UK not providing the support that he wanted exactly when he wanted. Like, if the war effort was really going as well as we're all reporting and talking about, like, why would he care that they delayed for a couple of days until they agreed to provide the support? Like, I don't know. There's something there. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something.
Could be hitting their electrical grids, bridges, oil depots. What we're doing is that they act stupid. We're going to reserve those targets for that punishment. Right now, we're almost executing this war compassionately. This thing could be much, much bigger. The timing of the war is really intelligent because if you see the volley of these drones and ballistic missiles, imagine 5 years from now how much blood and treasure the American alliance would have to spend busting down these barrages to take out the nuclear program. Their goal was to build a shield around it so we couldn't even consider the strike. People have to be a little bit more patient. We took 10 years to nail bin Laden.
That's
2 years.
That's kind of why I got into the whole, soapbox thing of state media. Like, this is him telling you, like, hey, man, it's going to be rough for a little while. Just be patient. Everything's going exactly as planned. Not, don't pay attention to any of the reporting that we didn't have a plan or we're kind of making up a plan on the fly. All these different things. Like, yeah, people are telling you the gas prices are going up, and don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe your lying pocketbook. Don't believe the lying gas pumps. Everything's fine. We can stop when we want to. We pretty much already won, but we're going to keep at it just a little bit longer to ensure what did he say? Unconditional surrender. Come on, like, you gotta think for yourself. Do your own research. I know so many people look to these people to give you an opinion, and to just do your own research. Look into it yourself.
Milosevic, 8 months for Gaddafi, 9 months for Saddam. Hitler died after 6 years. We got this guy in 50 seconds. You have to acknowledge how great that was.
Yeah, a massive success, no doubt about it. And Harold, when you look at the idea of Iran getting...
I'm not going to tell you the reasons why. I don't like the war porn in the background, right? I don't like... If everybody, loves things like that, loves seeing like that, if that gets you all riled up and so excited and things like that, you should join. You should join the Navy, join the Army, join the Marines, join the Air Force, join Space Force, whatever you want to do. Like, join up. You know what I'm saying? Don't get your rocks off by stuff like this. This is not cool. It's not cool. Like, there's a sense of... whatever, man. There's a sense of humanity, right, that is lost in our society these days. Like, yeah, these people, right, this country in the past, they've never been our allies. They've never been our friends. But before we decided to attack them, they were a known threat. You could say enemy. But we attacked them out of nowhere, and we're killing them, right? So we started a war with them, a preemptive war. So, like, all these things that are playing in the background are us being the aggressor. Like, it's... I won't go as far as to say it's like Russia invading Ukraine, but I mean, there are similarities. There's a conversation that can be had. Like, are we the good guys? Are we the good guys? I'm actually asking that as a curious question. Are we the good guys in this situation? I have issue believing that the administration is being completely honest with everything that they said. But I mean, we're here now. That's all I have to go on. I have to support my government. People have lied to us before, and we were in a 2-decade-long war because of it.
Nuclear weapons, that would essentially insulate them. You at that point couldn't attack Iran. That's why I agree with Jesse at the time, and you had to do this.
I don't think there's any doubt. It's good to be with you today as well. I'd say a couple things, and I agree with largely my colleagues to my left here. I heard General Kane this morning too, Dana, and I thought he gave the clearest, most coherent, most understandable explanation for what we're doing. And I would hope when he said we need to end their missile ballistic launch capabilities, we need to ensure, to Kaylee's point, they get no nuclear weapon. And 3, we're knocking out the Navy and Air Force, basically eliminating their ability to have to respond militarily. Now, what I would hope is that everyone would get on the same page. Sometimes the president says that, sometimes he goes more. I disagree with you a little bit, Jesse, when I don't understand fully when the Secretary of War and others will talk outside of what the president's saying or beyond what General Kane is saying. They just need a central message. And perhaps I think some of the data, some of the polling suggests, Kaylee, that the majority of the country, and I'm not part of that majority, is not in favor of the president. I think you have to be in favor of a president when we're at war. But I think a lot of this could be solved if the president were to give a message, a national address, and just lay all of this out. 2, I am not one that thinks you should put a timeline on it, Jesse, but you can't, the president can't say, as he did yesterday, as we sat here on this set, and it looked as if he was developing or pursuing some sort of off-ramp and was saying that the war is basically complete. And then to hear the Secretary of War and General Kane this morning, it appears that it's not. Again, I just want clarity, and I'm one that can live with the consequences. I think many Americans, including many Democrats, can. I just hope at some point we fully understand it. Again, if it's the General Kane message from this morning, the press conference, I think Americans can rally around that, and they understand that it may take a week, or it may take 4 weeks, it may take 8 weeks. And then finally, I don't know if it's smart to talk about us choosing the next leader of Iran. We didn't choose the leaders of Europe after World War II. We've never chosen the leaders of a country. I understand us not wanting a leader who wants to destroy us, but I do think it begs the question a little bit. The Israelis can't choose our leader. We certainly wouldn't choose the Israelis' leader, and they're our greatest ally in the world. So I hope the president and his team do two things: get on the same page and stop talking about picking the next leader of a foreign country.
And I think it's worth saying, President Trump's intent may be not having clarity, not broadcasting a timeline to Iran, and it may be part of the strategy. But time will tell. Time will tell.
Also, he chooses those. That's also a psyop. He chooses somebody he doesn't want, and then they don't choose that person. I do that all the time.
Yes.
Is that why you chose me for the show?
Yes.
We got lots of psyops here on the 5. All right, up.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest.
That's the end of the video. I talked plenty, so y'all know where I sit, how I view it. All in all, I've seen more unbearable videos. There's certain people on there that I completely disagree with their takes, and I think some of the way they present their point of view is kind of misleading. But ultimately, like I said, I gave my opinion, but y'all let me know what y'all think. And in the comments, like I said, new channel. If y'all are liking the content, subscribe, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you like, dislike. For those of y'all that are conservative, did I come across as super biased? I probably did. It is what it is. I am who I am. For those of y'all that are not conservative, do you think I was centered enough or tampered enough, or should I have gone harder? Let me know what y'all think. But until next time, I'll holla at you.